Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you're watching this vlog, you can see that I already gave birth. Both me and the baby is very healthy. So in today's video, I want to show you, or I want to document my early signs of labor and my actual labor vlog. If this is the first time on my channel, my name is Ming. And if you're not here to watch early signs of labor or labor vlog, this video could be TMI for you, so you don't have to watch it. My normal hauls will be coming back. And before I give labor, I googled a lot of videos about early signs of labor, and labor vlog personally helped me as well. So I want to contribute to this. So this vlog actually starts several days before my actual labor. I actually scheduled an induction at 40 weeks, but I end up having my baby before 40 weeks. You will see. Okay, let's get into today's vlog. Another day, another vlog. Hello everyone, this is Miss Ming. I'm currently 39 weeks. I am actually getting induced at 40 weeks, but I always had this feeling that I am gonna have this baby before the induction or 40 weeks. I couldn't sleep last night. I really feel like the labor is near. It's very hard to tell, but today is Sunday, Mother's Day. But starting on Friday, I felt like my labor is near. I just felt more lazy and tired. But starting on Friday, I had like really bad back pain in the afternoon, and I started feeling way more nauseous than before. I was feeling nauseous after 36 weeks, but I started feeling nauseous. Like I actually have refluxes that like I threw up a little bit. I still went to teach 2 yoga classes, but I canceled my other workout classes that I scheduled before, and I couldn't really exercise much. Tension headaches, migraines, so I took some headache pills. And then the whole night on Friday night, I couldn't sleep until 6 a.m. Saturday, and then I think in the morning, I lost my plug. I was having period cramps on and off, but nothing major. I felt like tired and stuff, but I also didn't sleep well. So I felt like, oh, maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing. But then I also started having like cramps that like I want to go to the bathroom. And I just remember my mom said when she was having me, she was like having diarrhea, but it's actually her contractions. But then Saturday night, I started having like rougher period cramps. Still, I don't feel like they're contractions, they just feel like period cramps, and I couldn't sleep. And there was one time that I felt like the cramps are so bad that I wanted to throw. Around 5 a.m. the cramp kind of stopped and I fell asleep. And here comes Sunday morning, Mother's Day. Alright guys, so this is my belly, 39 weeks, but I just don't feel, I feel like my belly is actually smaller than 3 days ago. We will see, but this is the belly at 39 weeks. I'm smaller than every single girl that I saw on the internet, which is, I felt like it's a little worrisome, but my doctor told me not to worry. It's probably a small baby anyways, because I'm small. So happy Mother's Day if you already have your baby. But if you're also pregnant, looking for symptoms, looking it up, basically that's so far my symptoms. That I feel like my labor-like symptoms are way more obvious or way more severe at night. Like when the morning comes, it just disappears. My husband made me some Mother's Day lunch, but honestly, too greasy for me, too heavy for me. My husband got me a present. What is Aura? What does it do?
It's a picture frame.
Oh, so you can take pictures?
You take pictures of my kid and then it goes to the frame automatically.
Oh.
Wherever it is.
It's actually Tuesday. I'm about to head out to teach a yoga class. Like today is my last prenatal visit with my OB before the induction next week, and she checked my cervix today. I had no dilation, but I did have 50% of effacement, was some thinning. So she said like all the cramping that I've been experienced in the past like several days are because like my cervix is trying to thin out. So they will need my cervix to be 100% effaced, not completely, not like ready to go yet. I'm gonna teach yoga. So like afterwards, my husband just like went back to work. He's like, oh, I guess the baby's not gonna come today. So I'm gonna go teach a yoga class. This week is actually the last week of teaching yoga. Now I'm gonna go teach my class. Here's my class. Hey guys, it's me again. It's Wednesday. I'm 39 weeks and 3 days, and today we had a little bit of progress because I went to the bathroom and I had a little bit of bloody show. It's like a sign of labor that like the labor is very near right now. I'm so excited. I was binge watching birth vlog and was getting so emotional. I was like, oh, all of them have their babies. Where's my baby? It says online like after bloody show, it could be like the next day, like the baby may come next day or the following day, but it should be really close. I've been having feelings that my labor is gonna come soon, but all of my signs were showing that like it may come soon, but not like immediately. So for the past like 6 days, I've been having migraines, and those migraines feels like my period is gonna come. There's definitely some hormonal changes that cause the migraine. Hey guys, it's Thursday morning. Currently it's 8:30. I woke up at like 6 today and I started having period-like cramps, and I was like, it's probably normal. Like my doctor said, it's probably just like my cervix trying to soften more or efface more. I was just like waiting to fall back to sleep, but then I couldn't fall back to sleep, which is kind of weird. And I started having cramps that comes in waves. And I was like, oh, I have a timer on my app. This is the Bump app. It comes with a contraction time. But I was like, it's probably good to document this just in case it turned into contractions. So it started at like 9 minutes, 10 minutes. And it started to become like 9 minutes and 8 minutes and 7 minutes. And then I think right now it's like every 6. And then I went to the bathroom and it feels like my period is here. It's not like ginormous bleeding. It's not like, but it's like the onset of your period, that. So yesterday I had some spotty show, or it could be due to the cervical exam. But today I just had like more bleeding. Like it feels like the onset of period. My doctor said wait until like you can talk through contractions, then go to the hospital. Because if it's your first labor, if it's your first baby, there's no need to rush. Try to stay comfortable at home. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do laundry, get some fresh clothes going on, and then we'll see. Hello everyone. And due to a bleeding disorder that I have, and also I had a bleeding, the doctor, she asked my OB and she talked to me. She wanted to do the induction early on that day because my signs of labor. She feels uncomfortable to send me home just because I started like a little light bleeding. And she asked me, it's totally my choice. I can deny whatever the intervention. We're here at the hospital. We're having contractions 6 minutes apart. So we're gonna induce. Is excited. So we decided to stay and then having an induction today instead of waiting for 3 days, because we scheduled it in 3 days, right? Like, so it's not like significantly different. So yay. So prior to this, because of I have ITP, which is a type of bleeding disorder, I basically have very low platelets count. At 36 weeks, my platelets count, it was over 80. And my first thing we did after the cervical exam is to check my CBC. And surprisingly, the platelets actually went back to 100. So my anesthesiologist said that I am qualified to epidural. And before this, I was prepared not to have epidural, but then the moment I heard that I qualify for it, I felt like maybe it's a sign of universe that I should get epidural, but like I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, maybe I will consider it. Hey guys, I'm in the hospital. I'm in my delivery room right now actually. Well, actually my contractions went from 6 minutes apart to 5 minutes apart. But it was very minor, not progressing at all. I can't even feel it. I can only see it from the monitor. Yay, wish me luck. I'm gonna watch my show and maybe take a nap. The video? Got a birthing ball. Contraction still very mild. The contraction is too mild. We're in a good position now. Wish me luck. We haven't started the oxytocin yet. We're just getting some IV fluid. But we're monitoring my contractions, which is very mild. I also got some apple juice. The nurse got me some apple juice to drink, which is really nice. They're so nice here. Hey guys, I just got up. We're gonna walk a little bit. I felt like the contraction stopped. It's not really starting, but we haven't got into oxytocin yet. We're just doing the fluid, IV fluid. And the doctor said that the nurse said they're gonna do the balloon first. So after they do the balloon, I think the balloon like inside to help me dilate it a little bit first, and then they're gonna do the oxytocin slowly and to see like if they can kickstart the labor. But like the nurse is really nice and she's like helping me to get comfortable. I already changed 2 to 3 different positions. I was laying down and then I was doing the birth ball, and then now I'm doing the walking. And then she's like, you know, like if I don't get epidurals, I can do a lot more, like being the movement when I give birth, which is nice. But we'll see. It's already 4:30 today. We did nothing but just to, and I feel like we didn't do anything. I didn't even get the oxytocin yet, but let's see. I'll check in with you guys later. We'll do some jumping jacks, but I only have one hand. The other hand has like IV fluid. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Alright guys, my nurse brought me a stool. We're gonna do some staircase right here just to get some pelvic floor, cervical opening right here. We're just gonna go side up and down, up and down, up and down, and that is my birthing ball right here. So that one is like, you know, for this squatting or sitting on the birthing ball. And then we got the stairs. We have everything here. It's like a stool, so but I can just step on and off. Get some in. I'm stepping on this sheet. Okay, you hold this.
The sheet?
Yeah.
You can see your butt.
Just make sure it's all tied up at the back.
Up. Just don't step on your wire.
I know. I think when I do the steps, I can feel a little bit. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm back in bed. So, good news. I'm dilated 3 centimeters all on my own when I was jumping around. So that's good. 3 centimeters is not a lot, but we just started the Pitocin, which is a synthetic form of oxytocin. So basically, I just started the IV fluid for Pitocin. So my induction just started. They were giving me some time, just giving me regular IV fluid. Already had contractions. When I come to the hospital, like I already started, they're so mild that I don't even feel them. But I was so worried because if I don't dilate at all, they will use the balloon thing and it scares me. But it worked. So I'm 3 centimeters dilated and I don't feel anything. Honestly, I feel I don't feel any contractions anymore. This morning I felt some cramps, but I don't feel contractions anymore. So I was so surprised when they said hey, you're 3 centimeters dilated, so you don't need a balloon anymore. So now we're just getting the hormones for induction, and they're gonna check me again to see when I can be dilated to 6 centimeters and stuff like that. But the baby station is still kind of high. So after 30 minutes or something, I can start walking again. Maybe gravity will help to bring the baby station down. So I'm super excited. I'm on the birth ball with a heat pad in my lower back. I can only feel the contractions on my back. I can't feel it on my belly. It's probably called back labor. Go a little lower. Go a little lower. Go a little lower. There we go. Okay, we're gonna keep watching NCIS. Checking with you later. Alright, so my vlog, before the active labor, I was able to video and so other nurses and doctors inside of the room, and I just don't feel comfortable vlogging. But personally, I just feel if I go to work and somebody film me, it's very uncomfortable. So to respect the nurses and the doctors, I didn't film. Honestly, I owe the entire birthing experience to my nurse. My nurse was not just a nurse, but also a doula. She's been so helpful. I think around 8:30-ish, she was looking at my contractions and she was I need you to flip from the all fours to be on your back because it seems you're coupling. So I need the monitor to be in a good position to monitor your contractions because I think the baby is sunny side up. So sunny side up means the baby is facing up and the baby is spine to my spine and facing up. And that is not a good position to give birth. It has more complications to the birth, to the baby. And also it makes your labor longer and it's just more dangerous in general. So the nurse was I think your baby is sunny side up. I think you're doing coupling. She put me in a Malasana Yogi squat position. And she started monitoring my contractions and she's you're definitely coupling. You're having 10 contractions in 10 minutes. So you have back-to-back contractions and your contractions is way too strong right now. So she actually lowered my Pitocin. She said your body is already kicked in labor by itself. You don't actually need a lot of Pitocin to induce the labor. So she actually reduced the level of Pitocin. Instead of 8, she lowered to 6 to 4. Called in the doctor to check my contraction graph and the doctor said yes, she's coupling. So I have of break, so it's back to back contractions, and she said your baby is not in a good position. We need you to flip on your left side. So she put me on the left side and put my right leg up, and she said it's almost to a position that my belly is facing down. So what she was trying to do is put me in a position where the baby can turn around this way, and that was a very hard position to stay in during contraction. Really weird because my belly is almost down to the to the bottom. I think from 9 to 10, like I was in that position. Better, it seems like the baby has turned. We can put you in a different position and everything. And then at that time at 10 o'clock, another OB came in and you're 4 centimeters dilated. I was like, oh, from 3 centimeters to 4 centimeters, it took a long, I might as well get an epidural. Like it seems like it's gonna be like this for the next like 12 hours. And then according to my chart, so the anesthesiologist came in around 10:40 to administer the epidural. Of course, like they have to wait until it's in between contractions because like during the contractions I had to move. So the position they put me in is a sitting position, and then I round my back, just tuck in, and then the anesthesiologist injected the epidural. My nurse was like, you have to lay in your back for next like how long until the epidural kick in, because we want the epidural to be even, because if you roll to the side, the epidural may not be even and you may have like one side numb and the other side not numb. And starting at 10:45, I started having very sharp lower back pain. It's like to the point that it's not breathable. It's like I had a hard time breathing through it, so I was like screaming. I was like it only happened after I got the epidural. I was like, oh my god, I regret getting epidural. Like I have a very sharp, so it feels like someone used a sharp knife to stick into my lower back and twist it like, and it's constant sharp pain. It's not like before. It's not like the contractions I had. Like before, the contractions are easy to breathe through because I had pain and then I can breathe, and I had pain and I can breathe. But after I got the epidural around 10:45 p.m., it's like someone constantly, like it's crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I regret getting epidural, and I wanted to move. The thing is, it was so painful. I wanted to move to all fours, and my nurse was like, no, you cannot move right now. You have to stay still. Like you have to stay still. So like it was so painful, and then the nurse was like, it takes 15 to 20 minutes for the epidural to kick in. Stay put, like, and then I was like, no, it's too painful. I regret getting epidural. I just remember screaming, I regret getting epidural. I regret getting epidural. It's so painful that you have pain and you cannot move. Because if I am on child's pose or all fours, like on tabletop position, or before I could use the heating pad, I could use like the tennis ball. But right now they're asking me to not move when there's like a sharp knife twisting on my lower back. The nurse said, you cannot move right now. You have to go through with it. I was like, I regret getting epidural. This is the worst decision I made in my life. I regret getting epidural. I was just screaming, and then my husband doesn't know what to do. My husband's like, you can do it, you can do it. I was like, shut up, I heard you the first time, just be quiet. 11 o'clock, I was like, how long has it been? They were like, oh, 15 minutes. I was like, the pain didn't stop. I could feel everything. The epidural is not working. Oh my gosh, it's so painful. The epidural is not working. So at 11 o'clock, it's not working. So they waited for like 11:05. After 20 minutes of the administering of the epidural, I could still feel everything. I don't feel numb at all. And then the nurse was getting worried. You know, I have a bleeding disorder. So the nurse was worried that the epidural actually caused me like spinal bleeding that do. She doesn't know what's going on. So she went to get the anesthesiologist. We went to get the OB. She went to get everyone. So like chaotic. Before I knew it, at 11:10, the reason why I remember these timestamps so clearly is because, first of all, there is a clock right in front of me. Second, it actually is in my medical record. Before I know it, like around 11:10, there's a room full of doctors. There's an anesthesiologist, his assistant, and then a resident doctor and the 2 nurses. And the resident doctor checked in my cervix, and she's like, oh my gosh, she is in positive station 3. And she, like, it's already 9 centimeters dilated, and she's already like 100% infaced. Like she's like, we need to get ready to push. So the resident doctor went to get the attending doctor. The attending doctor kicked in, and then the anesthesiologist was asking like, what's going on? And then I was like, I could feel everything. The epidural is not working. It's been 30 minutes. It's so painful. I need to move. I cannot be laying on my back. And then the anesthesiologist is like, I'm gonna like try to give you another like spinal block or something. It's preparing for something else on the outside, and then like the attending kicked in, and the attending was like, hey, your water broke, you can do this, you're about to push. I was like, what? I was like, I cannot push, my epidural hasn't worked yet. And that's when I was screaming, and I was telling the attending, I was like, I could feel everything. Around 11:15, I told the doctors, I was like, I can feel my back pain, and I could also feel my front side, my pelvic floor is having a pain too. So I was like, I can feel the back, I can feel my pelvic floor. That was 30 minutes after the epidural, I could still feel everything. I was like, and they were telling me, you can do this, you cannot move until the epidural kicked in. I was like, I regret getting epidural, I regret. And then the attendant was like, you can do it, like your water is already broke, you're about to push, you need to get ready. Like the pain, the sharp pain on my lower back was so painful, I actually threw up. But good thing I didn't eat anything, so I just threw up the apple juice, and then whatever is in my stomach is completely liquid, but I threw up big time. And like, but the good thing is like, my nurse saw me started gagging, like, and then the nurse went to get a bag for me, and I threw up mostly in the bag. The epidural didn't work for a long time. And then the nurse was like, it's okay, it's like you're in a lot of pain, and also the hormones are changing, it also contributes to like the vomit, it's very normal. Afterwards, like I think around 11:20, I was telling them, I was like, I cannot be laying on my back anymore, my back pain is too much, and my front is getting painful, I need to roll on the side in fetal position. That's when I roll onto my right side. I was like, they were like, you cannot move if your epidural hasn't kicked in. I was like, I don't care, I need to roll on my side. And once I rolled on my side, I felt a little bit better. I definitely feel like the laying on my back when the epidural is not kicked in, it's very painful. My body started to shake uncontrollably, and the attending doctor was like, oh, this is good, you got the baby shake, it means your adrenaline is coming in, your body is getting ready to push, you're good. And then around 11:30, my epidural kicked in. So I think everyone processed the epidural a little bit differently, and mine just didn't work until late. And around 11:30, the attending was like, you need to get ready to push. And then I was like, they said like the baby is ready, we cannot wait anymore. Then my nurse was like, do you want to go on all fours to push? I said, I want to push in fetal position. The next contraction is kicking in. And at that time, around 11:40 p.m., I could feel the epidural kick in. I don't feel contractions anymore. I don't feel lower back pain anymore. I said, yes, the epidural is working right now. I'm ready to push. And then the doctor was like, we're waiting for the next contractions. Get ready. And then at the beginning, I was like, I don't know how to push. And he's like, you need to bear down. And I just curled in. Each push is like 10 seconds. And then for every contractions, I push for 3 times. About 10 minutes later, he's born. So from starting to push to I pushed the baby out, it only took about 10 minutes. My attending doctor said like, you're gonna make entire floor of women jealous, because like most people push for like 20 minutes to an hour, and especially for their first baby, they take longer to push. But I think it's because my baby is very small. My baby was born like 6 pounds and 11 ounces, which is like a very small baby, small head. So it's definitely easier to push a smaller baby. And also, it's very consistent to my mom's birthing story, because your birthing experience may be a little bit consistent with your mom. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I heard that like sometimes like, you know, it's good to ask what your mom's birthing experience is. So with tearing, I had level 1 tearing, which is the lowest level of tearing, but it still requires some stitches. I did have excessive bleeding. They check for clots, they check my uterus multiple times to make sure there's no hemorrhage. There's not, it's just that I have low platelets. It's hard for me to stop bleeding. So my excessive bleeding came from like my ITP. So after the stitches, then they give me some blood clotting like injections. They injected to my blood, and that helped me, or they injected to my IV. So basically it helps my blood to clot to stop the bleeding. And afterwards, like usually the nurse will give you the fundal massage. So as my nurse was giving me, like when the nurse was giving me fundal massage, she was like, wait, your uterus already went low to the pre-pregnancy level. So my uterus is already back to pre-pregnancy position, like minutes after birth. And the nurse said she's never seen it before. Like this is the first time she saw it, like without fundal massage, without like it takes days or weeks for that to happen. It just happened instantly. I felt like my uterus stretched out really thin. It's just like ready to go back to like the pre-pregnancy state. Basically the nurse was like, next time when you have the next baby, the moment you have contractions, come in, because it's crazy that at 10 o'clock, I wasn't even in active labor. I was only 4 centimeters dilated. Like your active labor is after you're 6 centimeter dilated. Usually once you're 7 centimeters, you're considered in active labor. And so she said at 10 o'clock, I wasn't even in active labor. And then 2 hours later, I gave birth. So next time, if like I'm already like 3 centimeters dilated, I need to check into the hospital right away, because the second kid is probably gonna come even faster than that. And also, this is what I learned from my experience. First, I feel like the birthing experience is just so different from person to person. Your doctor is gonna tell you statistics, like statistically, first baby, it takes longer than 24 hours, especially like when I came in without any dilation. And it was crazy that it just happened really fast. Second of all, like the induction. So the induction actually didn't go as they expected, because they were gonna use the balloon, they were gonna amp up the Pitocin, but then they didn't use the balloon. They ended up toning down the Pitocin because I was having very hard contractions. My body was in like labor by itself, but afterwards my body started to produce oxytocin by itself, and the nurse just toned down the Pitocin to the lowest level. And the third is like whatever expectations you have, it's the birthing experience is just so different from my expectations, because I thought I had a lot of time from the time I get epidural to like the active labor. Like if I have one regret, the regret will be getting the epidural late. I felt like the epidural didn't help me at all with contractions. It only kicked in once I started pushing, and I felt like I didn't get my money worth. I didn't get the epidural worth it, because epidural is supposed to help you to relieve the pain during contractions, but it didn't help at all because I got it too late. And once it kicked in, I had to push already. And the whole not moving during the hard contractions was so hard. So I felt like the epidural helped me during the pushing because I didn't feel the ring of fire. What I heard was when the baby's crowning to your like cervix, it's very painful. And afterwards, I did get some stitches. The epidural definitely helped with the stitches. So I felt like epidural did help with the pushing. It didn't slow down my progression of labor at all, as like I previously worried about that. So I was like, next time if I qualify for epidural, I might as well just get it early. And if I don't qualify, I feel like the actual pain, it's very sharp, but it's tolerable. So I'll give you an example. When it was so painful, I was screaming left and right. I didn't cry at all. But when I was in my second trimester, I had sinus infection, my throat was hurting, my ears were hurting, my head was hurting, my nose was hurting. I cried out loud. But during my labor, I didn't cry at all. I feel like labor pain is definitely sharper, more intense, but it's not something intolerable. I just remember I keep yelling like I regret getting epidural, because after I got epidural, I couldn't move. I felt like if I could move, I could get into position and make myself feel comfortable. It would have been a little bit easier. So I would say like labor pain is not that painful, but just a disclaimer, I didn't feel the pain during the pushing. So it could be very, very painful during pushing, but I didn't feel the pain of pushing. I felt like the contractions until the pushing was doable. So now that I thought about it, I regret not getting epidural earlier, but I just felt like earlier it wasn't painful enough for me to get the epidural. It was just such a dilemma. My nurse said the reason why I got so much pain was because my labor progressed too fast. So the dilation and everything, it's just happened super fast, and then my contractions were super strong. She said like according to the graphs and everything, my contractions were super strong for that 30 to 40 minutes. So like I just transitioned really fast. That's why it was so painful. Normally it's not like that for other people, but she said it's important for me to remember that for the second baby, because I did tell her that I want another baby after this. So the third thing, I felt like the most important thing is like, I felt like the nurse I got was so helpful. I didn't hire a doula at all because I didn't find any doula that I liked. The doula that I met, like the doulas that I met from like a place, I just didn't like them. They don't align with my philosophy. The fourth thing is like anything could happen. Like even though like things that like the nurse I've never heard before, like my birth experience was like something that my nurses and doctors never experienced before. Like nobody progressed from 4 centimeters to full on like the baby's born within 2 hours for the first baby. For second or third baby, that's totally possible. For the first baby, it's very rare, and it's very rare for the uterus just contracts to the pre-pregnancy position so quickly within like minutes. It just proves that with labor, anything could happen. And last, I did have a birthing plan. Honestly, there are so many like birth plan like templates online. Honestly, the templates, any templates that are over 1 page long are not very useful. You just need to get your like key points straight, because nobody's gonna have time to read that 4 to 6 page birth plan template. So all I care was delayed cord clamping, when to use epidural, whether to use epidural, whether to break my water and everything. But honestly, my husband forgot about the birth plan at home. I printed out, and then he forgot it. He forgot to put it in the bag. But I am actually glad I didn't take the birthing plan, because it wouldn't have been useful at all. Because every decision the doctors made, they asked me first. So for example, at 10 o'clock, when they did the cervical exam, when I was 4 centimeters dilated, the baby was in -1 station. The OB at the time asked me, do you want us to break your water? I said, no, I want my water to break by itself. So she said, okay, it's completely your decision. So she just didn't break my water. So my water broke on its own an hour later at 11:10. So I didn't want her to break my water. She asked me for permission, and I give her an answer, and she completely just went along with what I want. So she, like for example, with the anesthesiologist, they asked me, do you want the painkiller? Do you want the combined? Or do you want the spinal block? They asked me for this like decisions, and I give them the decisions. So I felt like my providers, like the whole team, definitely respected my decisions. They asked for my permission first before they did anything. Like for the balloon, they asked me for permissions too. So I think it's very important to choose a hospital where the care team will respect your decisions along the way. Honestly, like people have been telling me like once you're in labor, it's hard for you to make decisions because you're in pain, you're in contractions and whatever. Honestly, in my personal experience, I was pretty clear in terms of every decisions I make. Even when I was in the most pain, when I was like not able to move during the sharp pain, I was able to make decisions and talk to the doctors. I was able to express where the pain is, whether the epidural kicked in or not. I was able to describe like, oh, I feel numbing on my toes, but I can move my legs, and I move my legs to show them that I could still move. I don't feel numb, like I could feel where the pain is and everything. So I feel like I was able to communicate with my care team during the entire birthing experience. So I feel like even though I didn't bring the birthing plan, it wouldn't have been helpful at all. And finally, I was like, I'm really, really grateful for the nurse who helped me along the way, and then advocate for me, call in the doctors, double check everything, guide me into positions to help the baby turn and everything so that I can have a vaginal delivery. So I'm really, really grateful for my nurse. I feel like she made the biggest difference in the entire thing. I feel like if every nurse is like her, then the doulas will lose their jobs. Because she's literally a doula. Afterwards, she was like, you did a lot of work for this to go well. You did a lot of things with gravity. You put into positions even when it's uncomfortable and things like that. She was really like helpful. And like every time I think about my birthing experience, it's just very positive for me. So I don't have any traumatic experience. So I was like, if every birthing experience like this, I'm ready to have another one and another one, because it's definitely tolerable. It's not as painful as I expected to be. So I'm very, very grateful for my nurse. I felt like if she didn't help me to turn the baby, it wouldn't have progressed that quickly, because sunny side up position for the baby is known to have like a slow birth and like more complications and emergency C-sections and things like that. So I'm just very, very grateful that she spotted that early on. So I'm just really, 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 really grateful. So I just want to say that I taught yoga until 2 days before my delivery. I do think exercise and yoga definitely helped prepare my body for labor, because research shows that like exercise during pregnancy is correlated with faster labor. I don't know if exercise is the cause of my fast labor, but I just want to say that there is known correlation according to the scientific study, and my case actually is consistent with the research. I feel like if you're currently pregnant and if you want a faster labor, maybe consistently doing exercise. So during my entire pregnancy, I walked almost every single day for over 10,000 steps. I also go to the gym to take gym classes 4 to 5 times a week. And I take cycle class, I take boxing class, I took TRX class, I took like kettlebell classes, yoga classes. I'm a yoga teacher as well. So I did a lot of exercising, especially lower body exercising, like during the entire pregnancy, very consistent. Talk to your doctor, make sure it's safe for you to exercise, but once you talk to your doctor, definitely hit the gym. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to my stories, and yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna feed him again. And thank you so much for watching, and kudos to all the moms, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.